Hey there, fellow adult collectors. Welcome back. This is David Eon, and I'm in the video game room looking at some comic books, and apparently I've got some assistants here. This is Crumb, aka the notorious Crumb Snatcher, which people have asked me to show the cat before a couple of times. There he is. Romeo is no longer with us, unfortunately, but this is Crumb, and Crumb just kind of showed up in the house. He was an abandoned animal, because that happens a lot out here where we are in a rural area. People kind of dump animals. And one day he was just on the kitchen floor. I know I'm supposed to be talking about comic books and I'm talking about the cat. I walked into the kitchen, he's just sprawled out on the floor, and I took a picture of him and sent it to my wife, LPH, and I was like, where did this come from? And she was like, I don't know. There's a cat in the house? And he never left. And we call him Crumb, or Crumb Snatcher, because he will literally eat anything, probably something that came about because of his being homeless. I mean, mixed nuts, chocolate, coffee, nothing is safe with this cat. He will try to eat it. But anyway, we're looking at comic books. And primarily what I'm doing is I'm sifting through like a massive collection of autographs. Not that Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, which is probably the highest grade. I know it's just number 5, but that thing is probably a 9.6 or better. Oh, and there he goes. I guess he's had enough of listening to me. But I was just sifting through some autographs and a few other things. This is unique. Aquaman number 15, which you'd think is no big deal, but it's from the infamous IRS seizure back some years ago. There was a guy who worked for the government. He worked for the state revenue service, actually, and he was stealing money from the state government and from people and using it to buy comic books, and the IRS found out about it and they seized. See, 1989. The IRS came and seized his entire comic collection and sold it at a public auction. And they put this certificate with each one of the comic books that they sold. So that's kind of unique. But I'm just going through this massive collection of autographs. And a lot of them are certified, Fantastic Four, 8 of 15, certified by Dynamic Forces. Warlock and the Infinity Watch, signed on the cover. I have a mountain of autographs here. This is a nice one. Jurassic Park number 1, and it's got 2 signatures on it. And the certificate says you can get one of 2 signatures. This came packaged, and it was covered, and you couldn't see whose autograph was on it. And this one was actually signed by both of them. Usually you only see it with 1 signature, not 2. That's a keeper. One of the reasons that I'm going through these autographs, Stan Lee, it's Spider-Gwen, but it's number 1 of 25. It doesn't get better than that. One of the main reasons I'm going through this is because, we're going to get a Patreon going in January. This one I really like. The Magic Motion, or what do they call it? 3D glasses version of Superman Red, Superman Blue, signed by everybody, certified of course. I really like this one. But one of the things we're going to do with the Patreon is up the ante on giveaways. So Patreon subscribers, because I want to do something for them. These 2 were convention exclusives from when I used to do the Great Eastern Conventions back in Boston in the old days. See, there's one of the cards from the Great Eastern Convention. They gave these away to the first 100 people through the door. I ended up with 2 of them. One of the things we're going to do for Patreon subscribers is, how like on the YouTube channel I do giveaways, but I wanted to give away an autographed or variant comic annually, like maybe a once a month contest to have like a higher end kind of giveaway for subscribers to the Patreon as a thank you. That's from the Charleston Chew Avengers. It was a mail order comic, and all they did was stick this in an envelope and ship it, and so it's really, really difficult to find these in decent condition. I also have the Dark Horse mail away Star Wars Rogue Squadron there. Harikari signed. So that's certified. Most of my autographs don't slide. I hate when they slide. That's a nice one. 16 of 25. Batman Arkham City #1. But I'm going to go through my variant and autographed comics. That's a really nice one. Evil Ernie, artist and writer signature. And do annual giveaways on the channel, on the Patreon channel, like I do with the main channel. But like I said, something like this, maybe for the subscribers on Patreon, just to show my appreciation. So I have a massive collection. Some of these I'd like to get graded and encapsulated. That's a bit tricky though, because like CGC won't acknowledge your autographs. they won't acknowledge anybody's autographs. But I don't have a problem like sharing some of this. I get a bunch of Neil Gaiman stuff. I'm sure I've got like half a dozen autographs from Neil Gaiman. Stay put in that box, will you? This one you can't have. The Street Fighter #5. It's signed by everyone involved with the book. Cover artist, writer, colorist. Everybody's on there. 6 signatures I got on this one. I can't replace that. Arkham Knight Genesis, 13 of 27 copies. Look at that. Nice. And I'm not just showing these off in that respect, because like I said, I am going to incorporate these into channel giveaways. I know I got a lot more. Silver Sable. See what I mean? Look at that. I got a bunch signed by Neil Gaiman. Sandman Elfquest. And those are in-person signatures. They're not certified. Valiant Comics. That one's signed on the inside cover. My oldest son actually won this from Valiant Comics. They sent it to him. Some more variants. I think that's what, 1 of 50 copies. 1 of 25 copies. That's the big thing now, isn't it? Making like a dozen different covers for comic books. I guess that's how they get them sold now. 1 of 50 copies. 1 of 50. I like that one. Turok Dinosaur Hunter. 1 of 25 on that one. One of 25. Miss Fury, one of 75. I actually have two of these because I have one that's graded like a 9.8. Vampirella Southern Gothic, one of 25. That'd be a nice one to get graded too. Also, I might... cleanest copies of Planet of the Apes #3, or Adventures on the Planet of the Apes rather, that you're ever going to see. I also might give away some vintage books. What would you rather see? Autographs, vintage books, or variant covers, or a combination thereof? Here's, I'm flipping through these right here. I didn't know I had so many of them. This is the KB Toy Store giveaway Ghost Rider. See, presented by KB Toy Stores. I've got about 10 of them, and they're all like 9.6 or better, it looks like. Those are really clean. These are tough to find in good condition. Look at the Chicago Tribune, Spider-Man and Hulk. What would you like to see for a Patreon? Because we're trying to get it up and running for January. We're trying to open that up for January 1st. And of course, that's just so that we can stay producing videos with all that's going on with COPPA and everything else. The Hawk and Dove #1, signed 38 of 150. Daredevil #19, 33 of 50. Green Hornet Parallel Lives, 15 of 500. And of course, these are all certified. Most of the autographs in here are certified. What would you like to see in giveaways? Also, thinking about this limited of 50, Smoke and Blood, signed. It's hard to see the signature there. So they signed it in black. I'm also thinking about doing giveaways with maybe carded action figures. Some things like that. Depends on how things go. But I have got tons and tons of stuff. I really wish, honestly, I wish I could give something away to like everybody who is a regular subscriber to the channel on YouTube, and of course the upcoming Patreon. That's a nice, I like the way the colors contrast on this one. I might have to keep this one. Return of Magic, one shot, 34 of 50. But you know, it's just unrealistic to give everybody something. That's why I do the giveaways. I know there were a lot of covers from this one. Avengers X Sanction. Infinite Crisis, signed and certified. But really, what are your thoughts? You know, always let me know what you think in the comments section down below. If you have any questions or any points that you want to make. Brendan Fraser. That's not his signature, but you know. It's the photo cover variant. Let me know what you think. Look at that, 8 of 10 on the Superboy. Down in the comment section down below. I sure hope that a lot of you will be able to join us on the Patreon. I'm going to try to do it as fairly and realistically as possible. and I hope that many of you will be able to join us there. I still got a lot more to go through. That's a nice one. Astonishing X-Men number 10. And that we can continue growing the channel and growing the audience. What's in here? Oh, okay. Yeah, another one I got a ton of is that Omega Man. First full-length appearance of Lobo. I think I have about a dozen of these. Amongst other things. And I've got several copies of the first appearance. I was thinking about getting these graded. I ought to do some more grading. That's a good one. Some more grading videos. I did one where I sent in some stuff to PGX Comics some time ago. Back when crossovers were rare. But once again, let me know what you think. Please do give the video a thumbs up, share it if you can, subscribe if you are new. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Please stick with us with this transition with YouTube. We're not going to stop doing YouTube. We've just got to be more careful with YouTube now because of the new rules with COPPA and the FTC and all the rest of the nonsense. And that's primarily why we're going to start up a Patreon. If you have any suggestions you would like to see out of Patreon, let me know in the comment section down below. And hey, what can I say? Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.